Hello, and welcome to Activate Presents Grow Your Mind Chat Sessions in collaboration with Colab. I'm your host, Anam Sethi. Welcome to the show. Now, today's topic has become quite a buzzword, and I hear it a lot actually. I hear it in my personal circles, I hear about it in my professional circles. And I was talking to our mentor about this earlier. I'm absolutely confused as to what it actually is. And I'm talking about mindfulness. How many of us really know what that means? And how many of us are actually practicing that in our daily lives? But before I call on our mentor and go deep into what this really is, I want to share a story with you. So, back at Mount Holyoke College, I decided to major in something called gender studies, which is a study of women, a study of cultures, a study of behaviors. And at that time, I was doing a lot of research and writing because that's what the major required. And I came across this psychoanalyst, this philosopher. Her name is Donna Haraway, and she was talking about something called situated knowledge, which I want to quickly share with you. Now, it sounds a little bizarre, but it's a very simple concept. The entire concept is this: there is no absolute truth, which basically means that any thesis you make, any opinion you make, any judgment you make, or anything you know to be true is always grounded in your environment, in your context, in the people you come across, and the experiences you have. Just that awareness of knowing that your knowledge is limited to where you are and what you know to be true goes a long way in understanding where somebody else is coming from. And I just wanted to bring that takeaway, from back in the days when I was in college to the world today and to what we'll be discussing. Perhaps we can, during this session, really connect with ourselves and who we are, where we've come from, and abandon this need to be absolutely true and accept that our truth is in some way, shape, and form informed by everything that's happened before and everything that's happening now. So, to talk more about mindfulness, to help us understand this mystery, I have somebody very special with us. She is a licensed psychotherapist from California in the United States. She is a consultant and integrative healer, workshop facilitator. She has worked, providing psychotherapy to adults, children, couples, organizations. And I am so happy to welcome Saira Aziz Khan on our show. Saira, I am so delighted to have this conversation with you. It's much needed right now.
Thank you so much, Anam, and thank you so much for inviting me. And I'm really excited to be here.
Awesome. So,
And all,
Saira, I think let's kick off the show with trying to understand the basics because, there's so much going on. So, the first thing I want to know is what is the role of a psychotherapist and how is that different from other forms of therapy?
so basically, the role of a psychotherapist is a role of a guide. So when the people they go through some trauma or stress, and when they feel anxiety or depression, they go to the psychotherapist, and it is kind of a reflecting back what they are feeling and helping them to show their own inner truth, their own reality, helping them to see things in a different perspective, to heal from the different traumatic events. And also, just what you said right in the introduction, that what is the truth? That is your truth really grounded in the truth, or is it grounded in the conditioning or the belief system which you have carried from your parent society and from other parts of your lives?
And that's a that's a big thing to kind of encounter, and it's an even bigger thing to then do because it sounds like a very immersive kind of an experience even for you, where you have to mirror back somebody's trauma. And so, what inspired you to pursue this career?
Wow, my own personal journey of that actually. So I grew up in Pakistan, And my father wanted me to attend College of Home Economics, so I went there. I did masters from there. I got married, went to USA. And from there, when I went there, I was all by myself. I didn't have family. I started to question my own life.
Hmm.
I started to realize that for me, I am living a life of unconscious being, and I was feeling numb in a lot of different areas of my life. For me, feeling of joy and sadness, there was like not much of a difference over there.
Hmm.
That took me to see my own therapist. And then initially I was in that role that, oh my God, poor woman. And I got into that victim role and started to realize that how women are being treated and how they are being raised in our culture and
Yeah.
country. Um, so initially I wanted to work with a woman, and then I started to realize that it's not only women who suffer, it's also men who have a lot of issues. Women have a one set of the suffering and the men have another kind of the suffering. So I started to read a lot of self-help books, and from there, so one thing leads to another. And after 13, 14 years, I decided to go back to college and did masters in clinical psychology.
Wow. So it was a very then personal choice for you. And so once you decided that, okay, this is what I'm going to do, what are some of the challenges or the struggles you faced? Because it sounds like a very, I'll be honest, it sounds like a very stressful career because you're sort of absorbing stress from so many different people. So, what were some of the initial roadblocks that you faced?
It is stressful, and at the same time it is the most rewarding careers. Just before I started my school, I tried a lot of different professions. I became a makeup consultant. I tried to start a boutique. I wanted to go for MBAs, took some of the business classes and blah blah blah. But I never found satisfaction in any
Mm.
one of those different careers until I really started this path. So for me, once few of the biggest challenges were that the school which I attended was very much experiential school. It was not that you just go there, read books, do assignments, take exams, quizzes, pass, get a degree, and blah blah blah. No, it was from the very first class we had to go on our own journey. We
Mm.
had to face our life. We had to face our own self, which is not easy, especially when you're going through the school. So for me, going through that journey, going to the school, I had a daughter at that time, I had a husband at that time. So doing that balance, and it was a new system for me. So I went to school in California, and
Mm.
it was totally learning the new system. The way I was raised here in the schools where I went, it was like all, you do ratta.
Mm.
Memorize
I
things,
know.
go deliver them, pass exams, and that is it. So over there, you really had to understand. So it was a very different kind of the challenges, and then there were like a different set of people. The classroom setting was very different set of people from all different races and religions. So even like engaging with them took a little bit while for me to get adjusted and to get settled and to be what I wanted to do.
Wow. And so, if I may dig a little deeper,
Absolutely.
could you, did you ever, while you were now on this career path, did you ever feel, or come across a moment in your life where you felt broken down or completely, at the bottom? And if you did, how did you sort of recover from that feeling?
Yes, I did. It's not long ago. It was in year 2015 to 2016 was very tough for me and my family.
Mm.
Um, I lost two loved ones, and with that we went through some other stuff too in my own family. So that I still remember that one day I woke up and I felt that that is it. I cannot go on. This is way too much. I do not know how can I even get out of this. So, and I was doing like bare minimum at that time, just whatever needed to be done. And I'm very grateful for all the training which I have received
Hmm.
and for my own therapist and friends and family who helped me to get out of that bit of depression or that darkness.
Hmm.
Um, and I think my own and mindfulness actually was one thing which really helped me to get out from that and to come back towards the life and to start living again.
So then, Saira Appa, let's get straight into it. What is mindfulness then?
Anam, I will just say what Google told you, that mindfulness is just means to be present.
Present where and how?
So, what is mindfulness? So, there are a lot of different words which has been used for the mindfulness. Mindfulness also means to be aware, to be present, just to be here.
Hmm.
So, if you think about it yourself, or I can ask you, or I can ask a lot of other people, whoever is listening right now, that where are you in this moment? Are you fully present in this moment? Are you aware that what you are thinking and feeling and how your body is, what is in your environment?
Hmm.
Are you really aware of that? So just take a second and really think about it. Are you?
You
So
know,
go ahead.
yeah, that's very interesting because I think, and just to answer your question, especially so that our audience can kind of see how that plays out, um, I definitely feel like I am aware of where I am. I am online doing a show that I do every Saturday at 3 p.m. But being aware of my emotions, being aware of my thoughts, I almost feel like I turn those off sometimes, especially when you're doing something for the public or people are watching you, and you kind of get into this. Like I kind of feel like I become another person, or maybe like a robot, and I'm doing these things, but I forget to really soak them in. Almost
Mm-hmm.
feels like that.
Yes. So mindfulness just means that you are aware of what is happening within you. That is it, which means that we are aware of all of our senses.
Hmm.
We are present. We are present of our thoughts. We are present to our feelings, our emotions, our environment, how our body is. A lot of times, I know that it has happened with me a lot of times. I'm sure it might have happened with you and other people also, that all of a sudden we realize that, oh my God, where did the time go? I just
Yeah.
woke up and now it's night. What happened whole day? So what is that? That is that we just go on an automatic pilot and we just go from one thing to another, to the other, to the other, to the other, and we don't even take a pause and really think about it, that what is happening with us in this moment. And we just keep on going in the rut of the life. A lot of times, um, someone might say that, hey, you're looking beautiful. And what is our response? Oh, thank you. But we don't even take a second to even realize or to see that how does it feel when someone compliments us. So
Yeah.
just knowing and just knowing yourself and just knowing that how does it feel when someone is talking to you in a certain tone, what thoughts are coming to you, that is mindfulness.
So Sarah, I have a question with this then. Our lives are very much routine. We wake up in the morning. I'm not speaking, obviously, I will situate my knowledge. And you know what? Let's just focus it all on me. My life can sometimes be very much routine. I wake up in the morning, I'll go to work. Now, I feel very privileged and blessed that the kind of work I do takes me into different experiences all the time. So one day is not necessarily the same as another day. And then some days I'm not even in the same city or country or whatever. But
Right.
still, there is a routine. You wake up, you drive to work, you interact with certain people. I have a certain number of calls to make. a certain number of meetings to attend. Maybe I have a session to plan, and then at the end of the day, I come home, and that's that. So when you are caught up in kind of this robotic existence or schedule, then
Uh-huh.
how can you train your mind to then overcome that and find moments of presence in that rut?
Hmm. That's a great question, Anam. I think in the same way that you train your mind for the other things. How do you train your mind when you are doing training with other people? How do you train your
Mm.
mind when you become robot? So a lot of times some people think that mindfulness is just doing meditation. Though meditation is a one way of learning to be present. So you can just integrate that. You can just like take a pause right in the beginning and say, okay, what am I feeling right now? This person, blah, 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 said this. How is that for me? What feelings are coming up for me? And if I'm walking, like I will give you an example. Just a couple of days ago, I had an argument with a very close friend of mine. And excuse me, right after that, I went for a walk and it was a beautiful breeze. And usually I take like 4 or 5 rounds of that park where I go for the blog. And after two rounds, I was just wondering, is this my second or my third? And then I realized that, oh my God, I'm still thinking about that. And then I just brought myself back into that moment. And I just felt the breeze and it really calmed myself down. And at the same time, then I had a lot more clearer perspective because my mind is not engaged with what happened. And now I can see and think a lot more clearly. So just
Hmm.
bringing your awareness into the present moment that this is what is happening in this moment. And when we talk about to be present in that moment, it does not mean that we are not thinking about the future. It does not mean, or we cannot think about the past. We are dealing with all of those things, but we are also aware in that moment that what is arising for us
Hmm.
in that particular moment. And then from that moment, from that, whatever is arising within us, we are making a choice how to react.
Right.
That makes sense?
Yeah, it feels like it's very difficult to do though, and we will get to that. But before we get to that, there is something else that's also coming in my mind. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so as consultants, as trainers, especially at Activate, we tend to interact a lot with clients, with organizations that who then want to bring in mindfulness as part of their leadership interventions or even strategic interventions, sometimes even communication and things like that, because these days it seems like mindfulness is the hot topic with COVID just happening in Pakistan, and everybody kind of even losing routine and just at home all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so then the question becomes that as an individual, if I need to pause and take a break to be mindful, then if I am part of a group, how can I, or how can the group practice mindfulness, part of a team or something like that?
Part of a team. I'm just thinking how to answer this question.
I hope I phrased it properly.
So mindfulness is very much individually based thing also.
Hmm.
Because if you are present, so let me give you an example. For example, you're working in some corporate sector,
Right.
right? And then you have another colleague, we can maybe name that person Yasmin Ali, what something like that, right?
Hmm.
Now you and that colleague of yours has some argument or some conflict, right? So now that person says something to you which makes you maybe angry. Maybe you feel that that person is trying to put you down or there can be like a set of emotions and feelings which can arise in that moment for you.
Hmm.
So if you're aware that what is happening within you, then you will be able to react by choice. So when one person is reacting by choice, then the other person might also, if that person is also learning, then that person is also going to react by choice.
Hmm.
When two people start, or when more than two people start to react with the from very consciousness,
Hmm.
then it really improves the whole environment. It brings a lot more creativity and productivity in that environment. So that is how then the whole group of the people can practice mindfulness together in that way.
So
And
then it
the
really, sorry, go ahead.
so the mindfulness is something that which you start integrating within your own lives. And then you, and with the practice, and of course it is not easy, it is absolutely not easy, because we are not used to of living like this, especially now, because we are so used to of to doing something all the time. Look at kids, we are seeing so much depression and anxiety in the kids right now, which we have never seen, because they have to do something. They have to engage with the electronic all the time, which is doing what? Which is creating a lot more anxiety. And if there is no internet, there is no electricity or power outage, they are like, what do we do now? There is nothing to do now. We are bored. And then they react. So
You
it
know,
is, you start to integrate that within yourself.
when you were talking about the kids, it almost felt like you were talking about me because at night, even when I'm watching TV or whatever and I'm trying to relax, I'm always doing something on my phone. I'm either texting someone, even something like playing one of those games that you get, those mindless games where you just have to like break candies or something like that. But there is always a second thing going on whereby everything that I have even watched in the past 2 months, I could not share with you because I didn't pay that much attention to it. But
Mhm.
now I feel like after so many months of doing that, it is absolutely difficult for me to focus on even something like watching television. So then,
Mhm.
when your mind has become so used to, multitasking or not being present or dealing with two or three things at one time, what are some practical ways that you can kind of bring it back and teach it to be, focused and attentive?
Mhm. Um, so one of the practical way is just to bring your attention for a few seconds to your breath.
Hmm.
Just breathing in, breathing out. For some people, they do not like breathing. If you do not like breathing, you can just bring your attention that what is present in your environment. But breath is one thing which really brings you out from your mind, which really brings you in the present moment.
Yeah, and I
And
have to,
Mhm.
and I feel like I hadn't even breathed during the show. But anyways, we have a lovely question here that I would really like to take because I think this is one challenge that a lot of people who come up to me can have shared with me in my life. And that is this problem of then overthinking or then over present or over involved with something. So when you're overthinking, Rafia Mohsin says, it often leads to not being fully alive in the moment and eventually getting lost in thought and becoming negative and stressed out. So, how can we train our mind to not obsess about one thing then? It's a lot.
Rafia, that is a wonderful question. And I think you're not the only one who struggles with it. There are a lot of us who struggle with this, and especially now these days. So I guess I will say it again, that just bringing your attention to the present moment, just bringing that, okay, what is, even sometimes asking what is present in this moment. Is that problem, whatever problems you are feeling or whatever you are thinking about it, is it present in this moment? So I know that sometimes these questions in the beginning, they feel very stupid. And then we feel that, oh, does that mean that we are not going to tackle the issue? But that is not true. It is just in the beginning, as we are trying to train our mind, we just have to ask these questions to ourselves sometimes, that is that issue right now present? And the question is no, right now that is not present. So what am I worrying about? Can I just bring my attention into this moment? What is present in my environment? Can I bring my attention to my breath? Can I see, am I breathing? A lot of times we will find ourselves that we are breathing very shallowly. Can I just sit and take a couple of deep breaths? Can I see if I am sitting comfortably, or is my body really getting tired? Can I just shift, or can I just go and walk? So we can just do these different things, and bringing our attention outside of our mind and bringing in the environment or bringing to something else can help.
So, so Saira, Appa, that's a that's such a simple thing to do, and it's funny how much we forget it, which is breathing. So, if there was a quick breathing exercise that you could, demonstrate on me, I'll be a guinea pig, and for our audience to see how it works, then could we just quickly show everyone how easy it is to breathe?
Absolutely. And I just want to add one thing, that yes, it is the easiest thing, and yet it is one of the hardest things also. Because
Absolutely.
we have to go opposite what we have trained ourselves. And I want to add one more thing, and then we will go to the breathing, Anam, that all of us have practiced it at certain life of our times. If you look at namaz, a lot of times people would say, takre mat maro. I know I have heard it from a lot of my elders. What does that mean? That when you are praying, then bring your focus in that moment and just be mindful that what you are really saying. So bringing all your attention to that. So that is just being present and mindful. So we have practiced in a lot of areas of our lives. When we are giving exams, we focus that. We are bringing all our attention there. So we have done it. We are just not aware of that.
That's true.
Okay, so let's bring your awareness to yourself. You can open your eye, keep your eyes open or closed, whatever works for you, and just bring your attention to your breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. And just notice if your breath is shallow, is it deep? Now just bring your awareness to your body. See how you are sitting. Are you comfortable? Is any part of your body tight? Do you need to shift to get more comfort? Now just bring your awareness that how does it feel for you when you're hearing to my voice? Bringing your awareness, what is it you are smelling? What are your thoughts? What emotions are present in this moment? Whenever you're ready, just bringing your awareness back into the room.
I almost feel tingly. I don't know.
That
You know,
happens.
when you're yeah, when like your foot falls asleep or something. And I realized I was nobody could really see it, but my fists were clenched like this on the table the whole time. And I, it's interesting. My vision also feels sort of bloody. Like it feels like I'm, not so excitable, I guess, or anxious. I don't know.
Hmm.
Like everything seems a little chill. Yeah.
Yes. So that is what mindfulness is, just to be there wherever you
Wow. Uh,
go, or wherever you are just there.
we're in a digital environment, so I'm not sure how many people can feel it, but I can feel, and I'm not just saying this, I can feel my energy has sort of shifted.
Mhm.
um, I think a lot of people know that on the show I talk very fast, or I have a lot of things to say and stuff, but now I feel relaxed.
Yes, yes. And I want to add thing that there is a lot of research and studies going on mindfulness. And researchers and scientists are finding that it is really helps to with the heart diseases, with sleep, even with blood pressure. It reduces your blood pressure. It is being used to manage pain and a lot of other with the GI problems. So there is a very deep connection between our thoughts, our feelings, and our physiology.
Yeah.
So when we just bring in these tools, our whole nervous system calms down.
Yeah. And it's interesting because there's a resistance.
Oh,
In
yeah.
the beginning, you feel sort of shy about it. I don't know why. Not that I was doing it on camera, but it's almost as if my first instinct was open your eyes, or, is this, you know, can you handle it? Or, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. The body sort of, reacts with a little bit of uncomfortableness in the beginning. And then it kind of realizes, oh, this is actually really nice. I want to do this more. I don't know what I was so nervous about. So it's very, I think I'm going to be doing this. Hopefully I'll be able to do this every day, and I hope that our audience can also relate to it. So Saira Appa, before we close off the show and take all these learnings home with us, and start becoming more focused on our body and our breathing, what is one advice that you can give to people, during this time, to people who are maybe feeling lost, or stuck, or caught up in, just living life without mindfulness?
Hmm. Um, I think what I would like to say to people is to be open to reflect on their own lives, to be open to face themselves. Life is short, and a lot of times we spend all these times in thinking about a lot of things which sometimes do not even in the end, in the long term or in the bigger scheme of things, don't even matter a lot of times. So I guess in the nutshell, to be honest with yourselves.
That's a tough thing to do, but we hope that we can do it.
Yes, yes. That is very hard thing to do that. Yes. And it is very rewarding because in the end we are all looking for happiness and fulfillment, and that
Yeah.
is how actually we get it.
Thank you so much for being on the show, Sarah. But this was absolutely, this is the first time that we've actually done kind of a live demonstration or gone so deep into something. And I think it's been really exciting for me, and hopefully for my audience as well. We've learned about something that we were like, I think, even in our previous conversations, I told you I was totally confused about it, because it felt like it feels like, if you really think about mindfulness, it feels like it's the opposite of how life is constructed, or like societal life is constructed in general. You're supposed to do so many things all the time, and you just, look back, and most of the time you don't even have memories of what you did yesterday or the day before. And you're always questioning, did I do this yesterday, or is this from last week, or when did I meet this person, and when did I have this conversation, who said that? And just to learn to be more aware, and to be aware enough to take those memories with us, is really fantastic. So thank you so much for
Thank
um,
you.
coming on the show and helping us all out. So that was Saira Aziz Khan, licensed psychotherapist, and today I think we have all had I have had a transformative experience, and I hope that you have as well. You can always go back, rewind. Rewind is an old word. You can skip back in the video and go to the demonstration part and practice mindfulness. You can practice breathing. This video clip is for you and for you always. And so this brings us to our gym task for this week. And if you haven't guessed it already, it is something that we've already done in the show. And so no surprises there. I'm going to ask you to practice breathing every day of the week this week. I will do it. I will tell you that I have done it on the show in front of you. So I'm hoping that you will realize it doesn't take too long. You can, again, like I said, you can use this video, or you can just practice it on your own, whatever works for you. But let's all try to breathe and be aware of our body, of our physiology, of our mind, and of our moment. Hopefully, and I would love to hear from you. Send me your stories. Tell me what happened. I shared with you the experience I went through, first feeling uncomfortable and then feeling totally like, wow, this is awesome. So hopefully you'll have your own experiences. I'll share them on the show. Do get in touch with me at Activate PK, Instagram or Facebook. I always check the messages myself, so I'd love to hear from you. Have a lovely week. This has been Activate Presents Grow Your Mind chat sessions in collaboration with Collabs. I'll see you soon.